think that's a part of the next discovery. I'm not entirely sure. You know, I'm really clear that I need to step back. You know, I need to find that next part of my journey, which is not heading up the Journeys program or stepping on Darcy's toes. And I'm sure there will be things which I go, God, I'd have never done it that way. And I just, you know, one of the things I'm clear about is I need to be focused enough someplace else so that I don't go, what did you do? So, yeah, I am thinking very seriously about the book that I've been talking about writing for some time. In fact, I got an email this morning from Michael Dowd. We were talking about Michael Dowd yesterday. Michael is coming out with a book that's called Thank God for Evolution. And he's inviting people to, well, do sort of like what you're doing. Send him stories. Send him things about where, you know, nature has grabbed and inspired you, where the concept of evolution has come beautifully clear to you in terms of your own faith or whatever else. And I'm thinking, actually, as I was doing my 541-mile trip yesterday, part of what I was thinking about was this book. And one of the things I think I want to do is solicit some stories from people about their reflections on their coming of age journey or their solo crossing or their 6th grade trip back whenever. I'd love to get young Joe Matthews' reflection on his sort of coming of age in the order and then his having led the coming of age trip that my younger daughter Karen went on, you know, which was, but I also want to get my younger daughter's story of how that trip came to her. I don't know whether you remember that story. He took them to Mexico, the 6th grade trip on a couple of old dilapidated buses, and their ritual of coming of age was they stood in a line at the bottom of the Temple of the Moon, the Pyramid of the Moon. And it was at night, and they probably shouldn't have even been there, you know. And they symbolically took an imaginal knife and they cut out their heart. And they took their heart and they carried it to the top of the Temple of the Moon. So I heard her tell that story when she was in 7th grade. You know, I'd like to hear her tell that story now. You know, as the mother of a daughter who is going through that trip this summer. That's sort of the image that I'm beginning to get in terms of what this book might look like and how it might be helpful to other people who are thinking about the importance of ritual in that coming of age experience. Because I am convinced it's one of those areas that our society has totally thrown out with the bathwater. And because we don't call people to consciousness about their life transitions. We've got what Bly calls the sibling society, where we're all, you know, just little children together here in this place, and all focused on what I want. And, anyway, that's one of the things I'm thinking about where I go next.